Good morning and welcome to Local Business Focus. I'm Sally Barker. Joining us on the show today is Peter Trenaman from Groupsupport, proud station sponsor. Good morning, Peter.
Good morning, Sally. Once again, how are you?
I'm well, thank you.
I'm good. I'm glad to hear that. That's great. It's been an interesting start to the week.
Really?
Yes, we've got a lot of things going on with our business, moving things around. People seem to want to change at the moment. Doing new things and want to explore stuff. We've spoken in the last couple of weeks about the new things, what's going to happen in years to come. The current changes in the way the mechanics and the tech is actually affecting business and what you can do to use new tech within your business. So this morning I want to focus upon how you're getting that information and how you're educating yourself and what's new. So I like new things. I like doing new things every so often, but I also like the routine. I like having a routine, and my kids will laugh at me when there's certain routines we have in the house which are predictable. If you have a good base and you have a reliable, healthy lifestyle and a balance in your life, accommodating new things is the only way forward, in my mind. Maybe I'm opinionated in that regard, but getting things right at the start, your health, have a balance which is work and pleasure, a social life, something to invigorate you outside of work, helps your business, helps you with a social network, helps you with all those things, but that's not what I'm talking about today. And we've spoken about that previously.
Yes, we have.
We've spoken about having an IT guru, someone who's next to you, asking you the hard questions and not necessarily agreeing with you, but provoking you and providing the sources of information. But there's other stuff you can do yourself. So I had a conversation with a colleague the other day about podcasts, and he uses a podcast engine to suggest podcasts to him. Okay, a bit like there's Apple iTunes has a Genius program, I suppose you want to call it, an algorithm that predicts what your music tastes are and what you would like. And when there's something new comes along or something that's popular, something that's trending, it will suggest it to you.
Yeah.
And it's a good way of promoting new music. It's a good way to explore new product and to promote some sales for artists that may otherwise be languishing because the same people listen to the same music all the time. So how do you do new technology in the same way? So one of the ways is podcasts, and like this session will one day be a podcast, I hope. People may listen to it, people may not, but the idea is it's a source of information. What's new and what are people talking about? What are people trying to educate you on? Now, podcasts can be as little as 3 minutes and go for hours. I tend to sort of go for the sort of somewhere between 5 and 15 minutes, depending on what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But what are you doing to help yourself accommodate and learn this new stuff? Podcasts are really good because you can listen to them in your car. The modern technology allows you to attach your phone to your car, tether it with Bluetooth, so you can listen to a podcast as you're driving in the car, which means that you're not taking phone calls, you're educating yourself and not wasting time. And of course, while you're concentrating or while you're listening and being entertained by the podcast, you don't get so irate at the drivers on the road, which is...
Well, some of the cars now are coming with a podcast button built in to the console, so you don't even need your phone. You can just press your podcast button and off you go.
Isn't it fantastic?
Yes.
Absolutely.
I like that.
There's that line of concentration, in cars and things about what's important and what are you focusing on. We're focusing on how you're receiving the education. How are you increasing and improving your knowledge, your awareness of what's going on? And podcasting and conversation is a lot more revealing than a technical article because people are exploring and teasing out things. And quite often you get a nuance or a flavour from a conversation of two people that helps you understand what's going on.
Yeah.
With a technical article, I read technical articles when I want more detail. I want specifications, I want hard details, I want things that I can provide for my clients. I want details and information that I can know the limitations of things.
So in a podcast, you can reference that article anyway, or book, or
That's right. That's
if
right.
you want more information.
If you want more information, and you can go on the internet and search almost anything nowadays. And podcasts are quite often transcribed. There's websites, if you want to do podcasts yourself, there's websites available that you can then send the podcast to the website, and you'll get a text file back, which is basically a written down version of what you're saying. These are new technologies that are available. One of the most popular ways of actually getting new information in short bursts is Twitter. Now, it's often used for commentary and for opinions. I use it for the footy because I love the banter going backwards and forwards when my team's playing. And it's a fantastic way of actually keeping in touch with what's going on in people's opinion. I don't have to be tuned to a radio, or I quite often are, but I don't have to be in one spot. I can be in the car listening to it, and the Twitter feeds will come through, and I've got a little device on my phone that will read the Twitter feeds to me.
Oh, clever.
So in amongst the game, I get these Twitter feeds coming through on the verbals. So I drive to Geraldton, and that's 4.5 hours or 5 hours of driving. And while I'm driving, I'm listening to a game, and I'm listening to the Twitter feeds as well. So it's a really good way of enriching the experience of listening to a game of sport. But I also have Twitter feeds for some of the hosting platforms that I use for the servers that are running on virtual environments. Twitter feeds advise me when there's an outage, or if there's a problem, if they've fixed something, if there's a danger, if there's an attack. Twitter feeds provide you with links to peers and support groups, industry leaders, new events. I use Twitter to subscribe to a enterprise and networking group that gives us new articles about how to innovate our business. It's an international group, and there's an article about probably one a day of 100 words to read, something new and interesting. And with all the people that are a part of that group, it's a great way to get something that's inspirational from a business every day. There's emails, of course, and there's LinkedIn and Facebook and all those social media platforms. They're sort of standard, but what I'm saying is that there's a difference between what's business stuff and what's social. And what is useful for your business and new technology is sometimes quite different. There's commentary shows on TV. There used to be one called Tomorrow's World, which was always great, Beyond 2000. The kids at school watch a thing that's called BTN, Behind the News. That's always interesting for technology and things. There's blogs are huge. And I've just been looking at the top 10 blog sites. There's a guy who used to run a technology store. He now gets 2 million hits a week on his blog because he talks about new technology. He's fairly opinionated about it, and he gives a lot of limitations, a lot of bad press about the new stuff. But it's information. It's amusing. It's funny. It's a way to sort of break you in to the new technology in a different way. It's laughing at stuff. He laughs at teenagers not able to get their heads away from the phone, and wonders if they're going to actually produce a phone that won't microwave a teenager's head. What will teenagers' hearing be like in 20 years' time after they've been listening to the music on their phones and their iPods and things like that by earphones so loud for so long? What will their hearing be like? Will we need bionic hearing for everybody? And these are some of the things he discusses. It's very amusing.
But it's educating.
It's educating. What it's doing is tickling your fancy in another way, so you are inspired to pursue it or to think about it.
Yeah.
And which way do you need?
Well, everyone's different.
Everybody's different.
That's right. That's right.
Some people need to play with things. So you go to the white goods store, you go to the local telephone shop. They've got all the new hardware there. You can go and actually have a play, have a look, invite a salesperson around to if you can withstand the barrage, to tell you about new technology. Explore the ideas. You don't have to say yes. There's lots of different ways to do it. Having someone who's alongside you to help you guide you through these things. We often get samples from vendors, and I have plenty of clients who actually ring and say, "Oh, I've seen this. Can we have a play? Have you got one spare? Do you have something that we can work with? Can we test it out? Is it right for our business?" Okay, and that's one of the services that I provide as an IT professional to the people that I am guiding, leading, being a professional expert. I charge for some of those services. I don't charge for others. It depends what I'm doing. Some of it's out of love. Some of it's brilliant because it's fun. I spoke the other day about a 3D printer where we created props for a fancy dress party. Those sort of things are exciting because I've then gone and taken those same the neuralizers from Men in Black movie. I've taken the neuralizers to a client and said, "This is out of a 3D printer. What can you do?" And we've spoken about making replacement cogs, doing a better design for a plate, those things out of a 3D printer because it saves time and money in the design process, and you can have a play. It's tactile. So it's,
in terms of education, the e-learning and online courses are exploding. I guess there are things you need to look out for if you are looking for it from a business sense in terms of accreditation. Is that correct?
That's right. Yeah, there's professional networks like LinkedIn often have great sources and resources to be able to refer to these things. You also get some feedback about what's good and what's bad. Your IT professional can guide you through to things that you're able to check where the accreditation of a particular course is, where it sits in the bigger scheme of things. There's websites nowadays with school rankings, and there's similar websites for the online learning applications, whether they're good or bad, whether their certificates that they give out are actually recognised within each industry. And as you say, e-learning is one of those things which is structured, and it takes you through a set course, which is great for people who don't understand and don't know where to start. They don't have that natural bent to research and explore, and not everybody does. And learning what you need to know rather than what you might never need is a different way, a different thought process. As far as business goes, accreditation is one of those things that you need to look at your industry body. So your industry bodies normally have a list of the accreditations that are available and where you can get them. Some of those are online. More of them should be online, and more of them are online and available, but are still awaiting the official accreditation, because sometimes that takes time, a bit like the law. The law takes a long time to respond and react to new technology. Education and lessons like that are the same. One of the bloggers, what's his name? I've got his name written down here. Harvey Levin from TMZ. He's hilarious.
Or TMZ, as they say.
TMZ, sorry, my apologies.
No, we say Z, they say Z.
He's made a point of being very opinionated about a whole lot of things. He's a lawyer, and he's very funny. He actually talks about these Las Vegas certificates. He talks about celebrities that have got all these honorary doctorates that mean absolutely nothing. So, but it's still a way to explore new technology, and I encourage you all to actually go out and find new things. Talk to people and see what people are talking about.
We're not all after accreditation. We're after just learning for our own benefit.
Right. And sometimes it's just reading what's new.
Yeah, exactly. So. Wonderful. So thank you so much for all those tips. Thanks again for joining us this morning on Local Business Focus. Peter Trenaman from Groupsupport, proud station sponsor.
Thanks for having me.